The Firebrand detective Sara stood in the precinct's break room, watching her black coffee circle in the microwave's dull light. The machine's hum, the flicker of the fluorescents, the quiet between them, it all mirrored her exhaustion. The station outside buzzed with chaos, but she preferred the solitude. It kept her from having to pretend she hadn't slept. The latest case haunted her. A young artist, Emily, found dead in a city park, her sketchpad left open beside her. On the corkboard above Sara's desk, the crime scene photos formed a constellation. Emily's body, the tree she drew, the silence of it all. The image felt too familiar, like something from a dream she couldn't wake from. Sara opened her private notebook, filled with scattered thoughts and sketches. She wrote entry 47, the tree again. Same posture, same reach, charcoal smudges like ash. Is he choosing them for me? The question lingered. The killer's work was too deliberate, too composed to be random. Each victim was arranged with symbolic precision, as if the murders were part of a larger creation. Sara began to suspect she wasn't merely investigating these crimes, she was their audience. Defying orders to take time off, she followed instinct through the city's cold streets. Her steps led her to an obscure gallery hidden between abandoned shops. Inside, shadows clung to warped canvases. Abstract faces, broken forms, and anguished eyes seemed to pulse with a private madness. At the center stood one new painting. Sara approached and froze. The canvas was a storm of reds and blacks, layered thick like wounds. Within the chaos, she saw it. The park bench, the gnarled tree, and Emily slumped with charcoal still in hand. It wasn't just a depiction. It was the scene. Her breath caught. Whoever painted this had been there. A floorboard creaked behind her. She turned, no one. The gallery was empty. She snapped a photo, fled into the cold, and returned to her apartment trembling. On her laptop, she zoomed in on the image. The brushstrokes were violent but intimate. Someone had witnessed the moment of death and reimagined it in oil. She began drafting a report to the department but stopped midway. Instead, she turned to her notebook again. Entry 48. He's not just killing. He's composing each scene as a brushstroke, each victim a pigment. And I'm the canvas. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. You saw it, good. She froze, no name, no details, just acknowledgement. The killer knew she had found his work, and he was watching. Sara's apartment felt smaller, the air heavier. She checked the locks, scanned the windows, but unease pressed close. On her computer, she reopened old files, unsolved cases. She looked for patterns and found one. A red ribbon tied around a previous victim's wrist. She remembered then. Emily wore the same ribbon in her hair. She zoomed in on the painting photo again. There it was, the ribbon. The realization hit her like a blow. Emily wasn't just another victim, she was her sister. Sara retrieved an old box from her closet. Photos, sketches, the same red ribbon. She hadn't touched it in years. She tied the ribbon around her wrist, not as mourning, but as a vow. The game was personal now. She opened a new notebook, its first page clean and waiting. Journal of the Firebrand, entry 1. He thinks he's the artist, but he's just the spark, I am the flame. Sara stared at the corkboard filled with faces and fragments. The murders were no longer crimes to her, they were dialogue. A conversation written in death and paint between creator and witness, predator and pursuer. But she wasn't content to remain the observer. Her obsession deepened, mirroring his. Each clue drew her further into his world, each image a reflection of her own grief and rage. The red ribbon on her wrist became her signature, a symbol of defiance and inheritance. By the end of the night, Sara understood what she had to do. She wouldn't simply stop him. She would meet him, match his art with her own. To find him was not enough. She had to understand him, to trace the lines of his creation until they led to the truth of her sister's death, and maybe to herself. The hunter and the artist were converging. One painted in blood, the other in fire, and the next stroke of the masterpiece would belong to her.